In 1964, a selection of the world's finest golfers arrived in London for a new tournament.
This time it's Jack Nicklaus, the Canada Cup winner, former American Open and Masters winner, with his attractive wife Barbara in a smart black and white check suit. Now comes Ken Venturi, American Open champion, and his vivacious wife Connie. Each player has been provided with a chauffeur-driven limousine for his exclusive use throughout the entire week in London. All the players wear a specially designed World Match Play blazer in navy blue with a gold badge.
Half a century after that inaugural tournament, the Volvo World Match Play Championship returns to England in October for the first time since 2007 at the London Club. It's a fitting way to mark the 50th anniversary of this elite match play event, which has a special place in the affections of the world's leading golfers.
It was far from an exhibition. It was probably one of the most tense, fierce competitions, the World Match Play Championship played at Wentworth in England.
I just always thought it was a premier event, and to play 36-hole matches like we did back then, every match, it was quite a test, and great golf course as well.
The caliber was always first class. You know, they had many of the best players in the world. It was a highly sought-after tournament and trophy, and had a great date, lots of prize money on a fantastic golf course.
I had played a few years in the World Match Play, and it was a stately tournament. It really was wonderful, and Wentworth is beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful golf course.
Conceived by IMG founder Mark McCormack as a showcase for the players he managed, fittingly the first tournament was won by his first client, Arnold Palmer. The presence of the Big Three ensured Wentworth quickly became a fixture on the golfing calendar. Initially with just an 8-man field, its list of winners reads like a roll call of greats of the game. Gary Player won the title 5 times between 1965 and 1973.
My memories there are beating Palmer, playing against Jack Nicklaus in the final on 2 occasions, beating him 6-4 and 5-4, particularly when newspapers were unanimous that I would not win. And so I've got great memories of that, being 7 down to Tony Lima after 18 holes. So I went 7 down, and then I got a lot of birdies and came back in almost 64 or 65 and won on the 37th hole. So wow, you know, when you're 7 down and you can still win. And I remember a man walking behind me in the gallery saying, "Let's go and watch another match, this match is over." And I turned around and I said, "That man, it's not over until the fat lady sings."
Oh, right in the middle. How many of us could have done that?
Player's 5th and final title came against Australia's Graham Marsh in 1973, a memorable final that stretched to a record 40 holes.
Oh, I remember a lot about that final. It was a kind of a dramatic event at the time. We had crowd involvement, though. It was a terrific crowd. They were a lot of Aussies in the UK, and South Africans were over there too, and it was a blow by blow, and you could have cut the air with a knife at the end when we were playing, because it was just such an exciting game. Nobody knew who was going to win until the final putt was missed, in my case.
Marsh would win himself against Ray Floyd in 1977, when the field expanded to 16 players. But it would remain a select invitational event.
Didn't quite give it enough, but Floyd surrenders.
I would certainly say it was one of the highlights of my career. Particularly, you never like to say a loss is a good loss, but certainly I think when I did lose to Gary in that 40-hole match, I think that established me on the world scene in many ways. And then to come back and then win it after 2 years break certainly showed, well, it just wasn't a flash in the pan for the 1 year. And so I put it up there very highly. But a wonderful, wonderful tournament, and one that I think every winner treasures somewhere in their career.
The 1980s ushered in an era of dominance by the greatest match play golfer of modern times. Seve Ballesteros weaved his unique magic around Wentworth, amassing 5 match play titles. Bernhard Langer lost to him in 2 successive finals.
I always felt I could play well at Wentworth, and I have. I've won, a couple of PGA championships there, and did well in other tournaments, and did well at the match play. Just ran into one of the best match players that ever lived in the name of Seve, and he got the better of me both times.
He was one of those players that could telegraph what he was going to do really well. I mean, you knew just exactly what he was trying to do to the ball. We had a match that neither one of us were one hole up. It was just a really good match all day. He hit one of the greatest shots I have ever seen on the 12th hole, par 5. And he lashed at it off the tee. He was trying to get there in 2, and he pulled it in the trees to the left. I went down there, and everybody was sort of waiting to see what he was going to do. So he goes over there, and his ball was right next to a tree. It came out and hooked up the fairway. And I mean, the people that were on my side of the fairway, we were speechless, just speechless. We couldn't, our mouths were open. We could not believe that shot. So, I mean, he eventually beat me. But to watch him play that close, up close, 36 holes, is one of the really neat things that I ever did. But I admired him tremendously. I really did.
But Seve did not completely dominate the 80s. There was time for some record setting by his contemporaries when Sandy Lyle and Ian Woosnam met in the 1987 final.
Since we've been really kids, you know, Sandy's always whipped my butt, really, what to say over here, and it was nice that there was never a British winner, and it was funny that we're both from the same county. We lived 12 miles away from each other. That one of us was going to be the first Briton to win the World Match Play, and fortunately it was me, and it was nice to beat my old mate Sandy Lyle, as my mum said.
That defeat made it 4 lost finals for Lyle, but the following year he made up for it with a stunning victory over Nick Faldo. After so long waiting for a home winner, the crowds were suddenly spoilt for choice.
I wasn't always renowned for my great match play ability. I was more a stroke player. So to turn it around and to do well in a match play event, it was obviously a great boost for myself, knowing that I can, if a Ryder Cup comes around, I've had a world match play champion.
Faldo would win the very next year and again in 1992 with one of the most dominant performances ever seen at the tournament. Already Open champion and world -- 1, Faldo crushed the opposition, including Jeff Sluman 8 and 7 in the final.
Demolition man that week. I was really, had it all worked out, playing good. Fanny and I had a great system with the putting and that sort of thing. I was something stupid like 48 under par for 98 holes. You know, unofficially match play. I was demolished, had no chance with me then. I can say that now.
Over the course of the 90s and on into more recent years, Ernie Els established himself as the most successful player in the history of the tournament, claiming the title a record 7 times. But there was another piece of history-making by Woosnam against Porrick Harrington in the 2001 final.
I just kept playing my game, and eventually I run out being a winner 2-1, and it was terrific. You know, I never thought of it being the third time winning obviously, but not in 3 different decades.
As Volvo took on title sponsorship from 2009, the championship adapted to the modern era with new qualification criteria, Champions League-style group matches and a move to Spain, where the consummate match-play golfer Ian Poulter won in 2011.
Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, but when it's even more satisfying when you beat the best players in the world, and that's certainly what I had to do, and that's what was so nice.
After 3 years in Spain, it was on to Bulgaria, as Graham McDowell won last year. Coming home to the UK for the 50th anniversary is timely, with prize money of over $3 million and a return to a 16-man field. The Volvo World Match Play is back, and there's no doubt it's a format that endures.
You watch all them World Match Plays all your life being on TV, and that's where you want to be. And you know, it's going to be a memory that will always last in my lifetime, because you know you've been up there with the great players who's won the tournament.
To me, I think it's one of the best tournaments there is on the planet.
History and tradition are a big thing in golf, and this is a tournament where all the top players, they just couldn't wait to go and play in it.
And the end of it all, for the victor, the spoils.